those kind of things have been ingrained in us, even about finances. So,
yes.
So just think, sex was not talked about when we were coming up. At all. You didn't get that conversation until you had a ring on your finger.
Did you even get it then?
No. It was like, by the time you got the ring, you should already know. But how am I going to know? And we've never talked about it my entire life.
That's a huge taboo conversation.
I was 12 when
having that talk with
you
your
know
kids.
what?
Right.
I was 12.
I thought you weren't going to be on the show
And
today.
she was 18.
Wait a minute. That's not having the talk.
That's not having the talk.
That's just doing it.
Yeah.
You just dove right in.
She was
That's
talking
how
to him
most
while
of us
she
right.
was doing it.
Right. You know what?
Teaching you at the time.
What were you saying, Cam?
But when's a good time to begin to have that conversation? Especially in this day and age where kids are we said, porn readily available. They have all types of resources to find out for themselves.
Media, Snapchat.
Or just in the conversation of adults. I notice a lot of kids now, I feel like most of us grew up where if it's more than 2 adults in the room, you need to take yourself upstairs. Like, you don't need to be in this conversation.
Yeah, that's how we were. Yeah.
But now it's like, the kids are right there, the adults right here, they drinking, having conversations, and now the kids are subjected to whatever they're talking about.
A lot of people might disagree, but I think when your children are old enough to know what their body parts are, you should begin to have conversation. Not necessarily sexual intercourse conversations, but you ease your way up. Now, every year.
Were you one of those parents that gave cute little names to?
No, my son's penis was his penis.
Okay,
it wasn't his.
You said you were
tallywhacker.
Yeah, no tallywhacker. No. It was his penis.
Would you want to whack it anyway? I don't.
But does it? Okay, giving it those cute little nicknames, did it make it easier for you to have? Or how old are your kids? I'm sorry.
Okay, so I got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old girls.
Okay,
and then I have a son who's 16 months, so he ain't having that. Yeah. I don't know. It was just almost like a thing I just did. We just automatically started calling it a new. Don't ask me where it came from. I don't know.
Right.
I don't. Me and my husband just somewhere out of the blue just been like, oh, go, pipe your new good and blah, blah, blah. We never actually... shut up. I don't know. Yeah. I heard it called a pocketbook. I've heard it called all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Money.
And that's what I want to ask in the black community. Why is it so taboo for us to call a thing a thing?
We have put labels on everything else.
Right. We put labels on everything.
That's true. That's good.
We put labels on everything. You have a vagina. You have a penis. I have breasts.
Right. Why do we feel like we have to censor that for children? Because they eventually are going to find out what those things are. Why not it be from within the household? When
I remember being younger, I used to love to. I had this flowy nightgown, and when I was a little girl, I've always been used to not having clothes on. Mm-hmm. And somebody in my family told me this is not what you do, and it kind of
made you want to cover up all the time.
Made me want to cover up all the time. And why do we do that to our kids?
But was it a female that told you that or a male that told you that?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that by way of vicariously through someone else who did not have the same honorable integrity-filled people around her as you did. Mm-hmm. There are some situations where men will see the prosperity of a young girl, or the prospering of a young girl, and they'll take it for granted, or I won't say it for granted. I said they'll take it as an opportunity because they are not perhaps related 100%.
Yeah.
But they still are men who have that role that they're supposed to fill as a protector, as a guide, as a teacher, a father figure, a big brother, someone who says, I see my daughter or this young lady coming into her womanhood. Don't see her as that opportunity to introduce her to something that she's not ready for.
I get that.
But those men who still think like boys, will look at it as, oh, I could break her in. She's a virgin, and I could have her hooked. And there's so many other ideas behind it. But those men damage women and cause them to feel very afraid and very protected or guarded against men in general. Especially when it gets followed up when she's walking down the street and she gets cat calls, or she winds up getting compliments and doesn't recognize the difference between a compliment and something inappropriate.
Well, as I got older, I understood why my father and grandmother had the conversation with me. But my father also told me, you can do whatever you want to do in the confines of this house. But you have to know that there is a behavior outside of this house, and what you do here you can't do here. When my boys were little, I let them run around.
Right.
They called it free balling. when they were young, they called it free balling. But I was like, nah, that might not. They would walk.
But did they call it free balling? Because I mean, we didn't know to call it anything.
I don't know where they came up with the name.
I ran around in my underwear for years. I had no big deal. It was
my oldest son,
I'm in the house.
Whenever he would go to my aunt's house, they called it laying in the cut. And he, at the door, would start taking off his clothes. And he'd be in his underpants, and he'd go jump in the bed with her, put his hands behind his head, cross his legs, and they would lay in the cut and watch it.
He was at home.
And that's the atmosphere that I wanted to give him. But I also had to teach him, like my dad taught me, around certain people, you can't be taking clothes.
Right.
You can't be. You can only do this at Aunt Stephanie's, and you can only do it at home.
But I'm sure that made him comfortable with himself.
Yeah.
And I feel like we give that pass to boys, but we don't give that pass to little girls.
Yeah,
can't.
Well,
can't.
At home,
you cannot do that.
My little girl pretty much runs around in her drawers. I mean, there's no stopping it. Just like you said, get through the door. Her
she's
shoes,
6, right?
Clothes. She's 6. So we're home. So that's fine. But she does it at my mother's. She goes as far down to like her shirt and her underwear over there, just because my dad's there. So she understands. Around men, even the ones in our family. Like, my husband doesn't want her around in her underwear. The first thing, don't put some clothes on when she's running around, because she's flipping and doing all this other stuff. Yeah. Nobody wants to see that. But I understand what you're saying about being comfortable with yourself. So it's like, I don't want to put that stigma on her. You have to wear clothes all the time. You know what I mean? And don't be free. But at the same time, we need boundaries.
Right. Protocol. I get that 100%. Yeah. Because I'm like that. Like, I like to be covered up. But when I'm at home, pants coming off, like just, socks and t-shirt. Like.
Like our daughters, when they were here, I don't mind them walking around in their underpants and bras. But my husband, he has a fit. He won't even let the boys walk around with no shirts. I don't care. It doesn't. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I don't. And they're like that because since they were little, they've walked around with no clothes on.
Yeah.
Now, when they hit puberty and, they would walk around with their boxers and stuff on. And you got to cover up now.
I got a question for you. Yeah. Now, when it's just you and Dr. Dre in the house.
Yeah.
Which is rare, but go ahead.
Yeah. Which is rare.
It's rare.
That's how we get rid of the kids. We walking around naked today. You can come if you want to.
That'll clear the whole house out.
It does, all the time.
So the imagery of and I'll just throw it back to, and this is probably, I'm not even gonna say his name, but if you in the kitchen at the refrigerator reaching for the cereal on top of the refrigerator in a t-shirt and only your panties on, that imagery winds up impacting every other person who walks around with a t-shirt and just panties on, because he's thinking of you.
I get what you're saying.
And then if you have a child who's coming into her own, doing the same thing, she ain't trying to be you, but she reminds him of the last and only vision that he wants to have in a t-shirt and just panties on.
But then that brings us to a whole nother topic, because then that tells me there's something wrong with your mind.
Yeah. Like
what?
There's
Freud.
something wrong with your mind.
Psychology.
You ain't trying to go there. You don't want your daughter thinking about doing that with nobody else. I mean, as a daddy, I don't want my daughter to think about doing that with nobody else.
They're trying to call you old Kelly.
You know what?
I see what they're trying to do. It ain't gonna work. I understand what you're trying to do, and I agree with you that there is something psychologically wrong with people who can't make the distinction. But the protector, the father in any man, never wants to see his daughter in that light, even though you got a wife that you love to see in that light. You just don't want to see your daughter that way.
Okay. We're going to take a break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about the mind. The old's mind.
That's a mental health issue.
Yeah, it is. You listen to the drip.
It is a trip.
We're going to be right back.
It's the smoked turkey ribs. It's the sauce. It's the service. Triple S, Smoky Sweet Soul. Are you looking for a quick bite to eat for lunch? Or maybe someone to provide food for your next get-together or meeting? Why don't you try Smoky Sweet Soul? Our award-winning cuisine is certain to hit the mark. Call us at 216-338-0518 for catering or to schedule the food truck to come to your job or special event. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or at www.smokysweetsoul.com. That's SMOKYSWEETSOUL. Everybody loves it. Smoky Sweet Soul. Come hungry, leave happy.
Create eye-catching designs that will make your apparel top of the line. The possibilities are endless with ski tees and apparel. No order too large or small. One item or hundreds. No problem. With quick turnarounds. No setup charges or hidden fees. And rush services to fit your needs. Customize your look today by calling 440-462-9401. That's 440-462-9401. And also follow us on the web at skiteesapparel.com.
What's up, y'all? Your boy, I'm back again.
Hey, it's your girl Nick, and you're listening to the new single of Montreal Derritt, Through It All. Available on all digital platforms. Go and download your copy today.
You're listening to the Drip Podcast with Nick and Mar. Keep it live.
Wake up, kick back, relax, take a break this morning. Ease your mind and your soul after morning yawning. Get your mug, get your joke, get your tea, get a grip. Take a sip, you listen to the Drip.
Hey, we're back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to The Drip. Those of you who are on Spreaker, we thank you for chiming in. We see you guys, and we love you. We were talking about O's mind and how it works.
Be careful.
Or not. Mental health. Mental illness.
Oh.
Yeah, mental illness. We're on a topic last week, and I think where we left off with faith and spirituality with regards to dealing with mental illness and mental health awareness. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
It's real. It doesn't get enough attention.
Do they go together?
Mental health and illness.
Mental health and
religion.
Religion. I won't even say spirituality, but
Oh
religion.
yeah, religion is different. Definitely different.
Do they even go together? Should they be mentioned in the same
I think
conversation?
they need each other.
Yeah. I agree they should be paired together.
They should be paired together.
But why aren't they?
Because they've been separated. They feel like they have to be separated when they need to be merged.
I think people who church people. I hate saying church people.
See, you keep saying.
It's hard to believe that.
You know, people have their thoughts about my thoughts.
That's the mind.
Church people, I think, are we're dealing, you see me trying to think before I say, we're dealing with mental health issues within our churches, within our community. And I think in the African American community, a lot of people in church think that either one, dealing with the mental illness is a curse because of something they did.